You got to be a better friend, man. That's what I meant to say. You got to be a better friend. You got to learn to keep me accountable. I think you just pat me in the back. You're just like, oh, don't worry, you're just having a bad day. You should have kicked me out of yesterday's program, man. For caring more about Elias Pettersson's body language than his body change. Straight up, 13 pounds. That's a lot. That's not a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I told the line pretty good yesterday. It's yeah, what can I say, man? I'm attracted to the sound of your voice. That's why I didn't want to boot you off the show. But I think I told you at the time that you're overthinking it, man. Quinn Hughes never smiles. Elias Pettersson doesn't have to smile. Just go play some goddamn hockey. Speaking of a guy who didn't play any hockey, at least during the regular season last year, Evander Kane. At the time, and to be honest, I'm still a little iffy on this trade. I don't know if I love the Evander Kane for Pius Suter swap. Now we got no Dakota Joshua either. But lo and behold, Evander Kane is here. He had some moments
Yo,
during
Trevor,
the Stanley
man,
Cup
what?
playoffs
What?
last year. What? What?
Yo, you're hurting me. You're hurting my feelings, bro. Like you just said, we traded Evander Kane for Pius Suter. I never put one and two together. And you said Dakota Joshua, Pius Suter for Evander Kane. Yo, you scaring me, bro. I was okay. You know what? Continue, man.
Yeah, but regardless, Evander Kane is here in Vancouver now. And there are some things to like in terms of Evander Kane's potential fit in Vancouver, even if I don't necessarily agree with the trade itself. And God, we said it before, it was one of the most divisive trades in Canucks history. Just looking at our commenters, connecting with the listeners at the time, I feel like there's a pretty 50-50 split in terms of people who wanted Kane on this team and people who thought it was a bad trade. And there can be a line between the two. But in terms of Evander Kane in Vancouver, one of the things I do like, and we talked about it, this week, every dayers know the potential fit with Elias Pettersson. Now, one thing I don't think we mentioned is Kane's success with other top centers in the NHL. And I'm not really going to include Connor McDavid because that guy's in a category of it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, Kane did not have a lot of success with Leon Draisaitl, but a couple players he did have good success with were Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and going back to his San Jose days, Joe Pavelski. And I think you have two centers there. I mean, Nugent Hopkins on a lesser tier than Pavelski, two centers who are playmakers first and are defensively responsible centers, and guys that can skate with a bit of speed as well. Does that not sound like Elias Pettersson to you? And again, that's the kind of prototype where Kane has put up his best numbers over the past 5-6 seasons in the NHL. A defensively responsible top center who can make plays with the puck on his stick, right? And Elias Pettersson, if he comes back to form, is that guy. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, got to be an honest guy here. I prefer a guy like Nils Höglander on that line. He's got to earn the spot. But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
against Evander Kane playing with Elias Pettersson. And there's a chance that, Kane with his swagger and his energy can bring more out of Elias Pettersson. So I think that's two reasons to really like Evander Kane there, Kyle.
Yeah, I, it's hard for me to like give a 35-year-old Evander Kane coming off like whatever injury he had. Like it took him out for a year. Was it tendonitis too? Was it that? Did he have tendonitis surgery? Is that what he had? Is that why he was out for a
Evander
year?
Kane,
Yeah.
it was abdominal surgery, but he did have arthroscopic knee surgery as well.
Okay, arthroscopic tendonitis. It's hard for me to just give him and be super, super optimistic about him being the right guy for Elias Pettersson. Like, you talked about Brock Besser yesterday. It's like, okay, can we finally make that work again? I'd like that. We talked. I keep talking about Keeper Sherwood. You keep talking about Niels Höglander. Who knows what Jonathan Lecker-Mack is going to do this year? I don't know. Like, we're really going to rely on a 35-year-old to be the top line winger to save Elias Pettersson's career and be the guy that gives him the utmost chemistry. No, it's hard. It's hard for me to think like that. But I'll say, Trevor, he is a UFA, and I've said it many times, and he said it many times, or he's shown us many times. Evander Kane loves money more than you and me, and you and you and you and you. No, I'm not even joking. Like, it is what it is. He could come and beat me up for saying that, but the proof is in the pudding, right? I've seen the articles and I've seen the photo. Okay, this guy loves money, and that's cool. Hey, Trevor, he loves money so much that he's made 100 million times more money than we have. So I wish I love money like Evander Kane loved money, and I feel like he's going to be motivated. And if he does get that opportunity to play with Elias, knowing that it's his last opportunity to sign a big deal, dude, that might be enough motivation for him to do so. What I mean by do so is like, yo, I'm not gonna say a career, but try to get to 30 goals. Like try to push the odds. Be a 36-year-old with 30 goals, but has all that playoff experience, and is still in shape and still defends his teammates. And on that note, Trevor, I don't know. Is there a world where like Evander Kane is intimidating even at the age of 36? So much so that like I don't know, players are second guessing, taking liberties on Elias Pettersson, maybe. And that's why I'm like, okay, maybe there is like a match made in heaven there.
Yeah, well, a couple of things there, Kyle. First and foremost, you keep making Evander Kane older. You said 35, then you said 36. He did just turn 34. Okay, let's not
Oh,
age
my
the
bad,
guy
my
too
bad.
much here. Okay,
Oh, you see what
um,
I'm balding a lot, Trevor. So you know how I'm balding? Like I feel like everyone's getting older around me. My bad.
yeah, that's all right. And I think the other thing you mentioned, and again, those are the kind of the 3 points that we're talking about here, right? The potential fit with Pettersson, the fact that he's a UFA, and he brings some swagger to a team that looked like they kind of needed more swagger in their lineup last year. But you mentioned Evander Kane. You're not in love with the idea of him potentially going there to rescue Elias Pettersson. I'm not even saying that's the case. I'm saying there could be a fit there. And of course, I think he would be more of a benefactor to Pettersson just bouncing back himself. If we're expecting Evander Kane to go save Elias Pettersson, we're already screwed because
No,
that's
no, no.
not happening.
Like, Trevor, you watched sports before. Like you never like. Okay, you know how like there's. How do I say this politely? And again, I don't want you asking this question because I care about your family. I don't want you to get RKO'd by Elias Pettersson. But like who? Like, Elias Pettersson, like, does he have any best friends on this team? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? I don't know what's going on. This guy's riding a scooter alone before Game 7. I don't. I don't. All I'm saying is, it would be ironic if Evander Kane was the guy to not just because of what he can do on the ice, but because like Kane has the swagger. Kane's a rock star. Kane, like he has that personality. Elias Pettersson no longer has a personality. It wasn't that long ago. He's taking the best photos on Instagram and hanging out with Baby No Money and all. I don't know what happened. Yo, Chaos Club, what happened to Elias Pettersson? Your whole organization got what happened to Elias Pettersson? Everyone went down. Elias Pettersson included. No longer Chaos Club. I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying what happened. What happened? But maybe Evander Kane like brings something out of him. Like it'd be very storybook. Like you again. When I'm saying you watch sports before, Trevor. Like again, I'm not talking about the on the ice stuff, but like hometown guy Evander Kane, all this swagger. He's the one that fixes Elias Pettersson. Confidence is a huge thing, and like maybe like he makes it more fun to come to the rink. I don't know, but I could see it happening. It'd be ironic, and there's a lot of irony in sports.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's all the red flags with Kane from earlier in his career, not getting along with teammates and blah blah blah. But let's assume this is perhaps an older and more mature Kane. He is, the oldest guy in that locker room aside from Tyler Myers, right? So,
Yeah,
and again, he brings that swagger to the ice, man. And you have guys like that on your team. You can't have more success, right? Because confidence is a huge thing. Kyle, you've said it before. Every day there's no here on Locked On Canucks. If this team starts playing like a family and not just a group of individuals, they could have some success, man. Like there's a recipe for this team to be scary next season. All right, let's
yeah.
wrap up on the other side. A few of your comments that we want to get to, and also let's touch on maybe some prospects who were intrigued to see this upcoming weekend at the very least, and potentially guys that could crack the Canucks to start the season. You're listening to Locked On Canucks.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One left to Trevor, one left to the Don't Does Art Lab for giving us a space to give you that West Coast bias, and one left to you and you and you and you. Speaking of which, let's get to some more comments. Man, oh man. Dan Jardine saying Vander Kane could give Pettersson the space to do his thing. And I do want to touch on that just a bit. Like, you know how I talked about the intimidation and maybe Evander Kane is like has that about him in a younger league too. Like maybe players will like be a bit lighter on Pettersson if Evander Kane's around him. And I know we tried putting Pettersson with DeBrus last year, and we saw the size, and we're like, oh, Bertuzzi and Naslin, though this could be a thing, dude. DeBrus doesn't have a mean bone in his body before April. Guy's playing Pokemon. Like he's a nerd. No, that's okay though. I've seen him in April against Toronto. He turned into a beast. That's when he turned into a power forward. But this guy's not a power forward. He's not that intimidating guy where Evander Kane is. and maybe that allows him to have more space.